Have you ever wondered what makes us creative? Is it a gift they're born with, or is it a skill that anyone can cultivate? Steven Pinker, a cognitive psychologist and author of The Blank Slate, The Modern Denial of Human Nature, examines creativity from an evolutionary and cognitive standpoint. Pinker argues that creativity is deeply rooted in the very fabric of what makes us human. It's not just a skill reserved for artists or writers, it's a survival mechanism. Think about it. Early humans had to solve problems constantly. How do you build a shelter out of sticks? How do you hunt animals larger and faster than yourself? How do you communicate complex ideas to your tribe? But where does creativity come from, and why do we possess this remarkable skill? To understand this, let's dive into two very different but complementary perspectives on creativity: the scientific lens of Steven Pinker and the inspiring, deeply personal approach of Elizabeth Gilbert. Creativity evolved because it helped our ancestors adapt to an ever-changing world. It's not just about painting on a cave wall. It's about thinking flexibly and making connections that aren't immediately obvious. For example, consider the simple act of making dinner from leftovers in your fridge. You open the door, see half a bell pepper, some rice, and a bit of chicken. Rather than thinking, I have nothing to eat, your brain starts connecting the dots. Stir fry. That's creativity in action. Taking what you have and using it in a way that solves a problem. Pinker's work also highlights the role of the brain's architecture in creativity. Our minds are not blank slates. They are built on a foundation of evolved traits and instincts. Creativity, he suggests, arises from our brain's ability to combine ideas stored in memory with new experiences. It's why a songwriter might suddenly hear a melody while walking in the park, or why a child can use a cardboard box as both a spaceship and a fort. While Pinker focuses on the science, Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear, takes a more emotional and inspirational approach to creativity. Gilbert believes creativity is less about survival and more about joy, curiosity, and connection. Gilbert describes creativity as a kind of partnership between you and the mysterious forces of the universe. She recounts moments in her life when ideas seem to strike like lightning, unexpected and unexplainable. One of her most powerful messages is that creativity doesn't have to be grand or life-changing. It's not about writing the next best-selling novel or painting a masterpiece. Creativity is about making space for joy in your everyday life. Think about a time when you felt truly absorbed in an activity. Maybe you were gardening, rearranging furniture, or trying out a new recipe. That feeling of flow, when time seems to melt away and you're fully immersed, is what Gilbert calls big magic. It's not about the outcome, it's about the process. She also reminds us that fear is the biggest obstacle to creativity. How often do we avoid trying something new because we're afraid of failing or looking foolish? Gilbert urges us to embrace creativity without worrying about perfection. Want to paint but think you're not good at it? Paint anyway. Want to start a blog but feel like no one will read it? Write anyway. Creativity, she says, is not about being the best. It's about doing something simply because it brings you joy. Though Steven Pinker and Elizabeth Gilbert approach creativity from vastly different perspectives, their ideas weave together to provide a comprehensive understanding of this deeply human phenomenon. Pinker offers the analytical why of creativity, rooting it in the evolutionary need for survival and problem solving, while Gilbert shines a light on the emotional and experiential how, encouraging us to embrace creativity as a pathway to joy and fulfillment. Together, they illustrate that creativity is both a functional tool and an enriching experience, embodying the duality of human existence. To better grasp this intersection, imagine a child playing with a set of building blocks. From Pinker's scientific lens, this activity is far more than idle play. The child is demonstrating an intrinsic ability to experiment, adapt, and solve problems. They're figuring out which blocks balance and how to construct a tower that won't topple over. practical skills that our ancestors used to survive in unpredictable environments. It's creativity as a mechanism of adaptation, shaped by millions of years of evolution to help humans navigate and conquer challenges. On the other hand, Gilbert would focus on the child's delight, the sheer joy of discovery and creation. The child isn't building a tower because they need a shelter. They're building it because it's fun, because their imagination is sparked, and because the process itself brings a sense of wonder and accomplishment. This is creativity as a celebration of life, an act of self-expression that transcends immediate needs. Both perspectives are true, and they don't just coexist, they enhance each other. The science explains the foundation, while the inspiration fills it with meaning. This dual perspective can be applied to countless aspects of creativity in our own lives. The beauty of creativity is that it's available to everyone. You don't need to be a scientist or a best-selling author to tap into it. All you need is curiosity and a willingness to experiment. From Pinker, we learn that creativity is wired into us. It's part of who we are. From Gilbert, we learn that creativity doesn't need to be perfect or even purposeful. It just needs to bring us joy. So the next time you're faced with a problem, big or small, remember that your brain is built for creativity. Let yourself play, explore, and experiment. Whether you're solving a work challenge, expressing yourself through art, or simply finding a new way to cook dinner, you're engaging in one of the most uniquely human experiences there is. Creativity isn't just something we do, it's something we are. And by embracing it, whether through science, inspiration, or a little bit of both, we can lead richer, more meaningful lives.